This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. So today I'm going to be talking about underwear and race cars. Now, that seems to be an odd combination, don't you think? Underwear, race cars, underwear. Outside of race car drivers, probably most often wear underwear. I'm not completely sure. Some might not. I don't know. I don't want to know, quite honestly. I just don't. Anyway. But what's the connection? Why am I going to be talking about underwear and race cars? Not just underwear, mind you, but underwear for prisoners. And not just race cars, Lamborghinis. Now, actually, they didn't start off as official race cars for many, many years, but they are a fast car. Really fast, really expensive. It's a bling car, I guess you'd call it. It's something. It's a car you buy not just to get you from point A to point B, but it's a statement. It's not a car. It's a statement that says you're rich, you're wealthy, you've made it. You can own a Lamborghini. I mean, these cars are amazing and amazingly expensive, especially their limited edition ones, which I think I heard of one that they only did 14 of, and we're going for $4.5 plus million each. That's pushing up into government costs for an airplane. I mean, or a hammer. I don't know. But so yeah, underwear. Go to Walmart. What? Pack of 10 for $5, $10, whatever, and Lamborghini. Why would I talk about these two wildly different things? And that's because I'm talking about image. Matter of fact, today's podcast is titled Looking Good or Being Good. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this kind of ties into my Debt is Bad podcast a while back, The Hidden Dangers of Debt. Because looking like you've got a great company, looking like things are going good, while having very, very high debt, they call it over-leveraged for a reason, where your debt cripples you and kills you. You might look great, but your debt is more than your income, and you're not really doing all that great, so you're in trouble. And you may not be a profitable company at all, but look like it. And that was Lamborghini for many years. Lamborghini made some incredible pieces of machinery, status symbols, really nice cars, and you would think the company's owners would be living in mansions and driving their cars and having really, really nice stuff, and actually not really. The company was bleeding money for years. It went through a series of owners, including at one point General Motors. Lee Iacocca, which I will probably talk about in a future episode, bought Lamborghini and could not make money. It was bleeding so much money that it was costing GM too much money to keep Lamborghini, and they sold it off. And it's been sold to multiple companies, and they finally got bought up by I think it was BMW, who added some German engineering and fixed some of the flaws in that Lamborghini, and have actually finally, after however many years, 50 years, 40 years, finally made the company profitable. You see, you would think if you're a business owner that you would want to have a big, flashy, well-known company like Lamborghini producing really expensive cars for the elite of the elite, the richest of the rich. Sounds like a fun job. Sounds like a fun company to own. But if you don't run it right, you can look really good. It looks really cool. Everyone thinks Lamborghinis are cool. Not everyone, but it's a cool car. Some people might prefer a Ferrari or a Porsche, but whatever. Point being, you look at a Lamborghini, you think they're a person who owns it is successful. They've been in movies, all these things, and yet the company was a failure for multiple years in the financial thing. So they looked good, but they weren't really all that good as a company. I mean, the cars were cool, but they spent so much money making the car, they weren't making any money. So yeah, that's a problem. Part of the problem is they couldn't produce enough cars to sell enough to make a profit. Big problem. Now, and I'm going to revisit some pricing on that, on how to be profitable later. However, on the flip side, in the book by Thomas J. Stanley called The Millionaire Mind, which leads me into a really quick segue here. Today's sponsor has been lately has been Audible. This book is an amazing book about the way a millionaire, your average millionaire, thinks. It is the follow-up book to the book titled The Millionaire Next Door. If you're in business, even if you're not in business, but especially if you're in business, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are, or you want to be in business, you got to read this book. These two books, both of them are excellent. They really teach you about what makes people wealthy, what they do, what they don't do, just as importantly, and what type of industries they go into, what type of work, how do they spend their money. Oh, and as a side note, they don't buy Lamborghinis. A lot of people who buy Lamborghinis make a lot of money just because they're rich and famous, but they represent a tiny percentage. And you never know, some of these rich people might be bankrupt or broke. Michael Jackson died $300 million in debt. So you never know. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, I've listened to both these books. I do all my book reading lately on audible.com. I've put together my office when I got my first office, set that up, putting together all my IKEA furniture, doing all those little screws, 3,000 screws or whatever, putting things together. Lots of time on your hands. Listen to these books. These are incredible books. Highly recommend it. And matter of fact, if you want to check it out and support the channel or the podcast, you can go down and click. I have a link straight to the Audible book, The Millionaire Mind. I have a link. Click on the link, check it out. You get a free 30-day trial, so you can get the book for free. If you don't already have Audible, you can get a free book. You can get this one. Click on it. You can get a free trial. It's about $14.95 a month. After that, you keep the book forever. It's an incredible reference. And if you get the book, it helps the channel out. So there's my pitch for today. Anyway, in this book, Thomas talks about or writes about a guy named Donald Sumner who became a millionaire. I don't quite remember how much, but here's the thing. He became a millionaire by taking old, weird, odd lot cloth, the cloth that is rejected by manufacturers of jeans or pillowcases or T-shirts, whatever. He'd go to these mills that produce cloth, and these were the rejects, the throwaway stuff, the stuff they couldn't use, that didn't pass perfect quality, but were still decent cloth. It was just not perfect. And he took this cloth. And he goes, any thought? And then you got to check out the book, read the story. It's really cool. What can I do with this? I know. I can make underwear for the prison system. I can get the U.S. government or the local state government to buy underwear for me. And they're prisoners. They don't care if the cloth is maybe a nanometer too thin or a little bit streaked or whatever. I can make some decent pairs of underwear from this cloth. I mean, it's decent. People might get upset if they buy it from Walmart and see a little mark in the cloth or some weird thing, but the prisoner doesn't care. As long as it's clean and his or hers, great. You got it. So he built a business selling underwear to prisoners or to the government for the prisoners. And he's a multi-millionaire. And talk about a high margin item. He was able to make and sell those for a high margin and get his supplies. His supply chain was dirt cheap. He was able to get all the leftovers and scraps from multiple places that were just going to throw it away anyway. Or maybe cut it up and try to recycle it, maybe, kind of, sort of. There was not much they could do with it. But if they can sell it for a profit, great. And then this guy, smart, he was like, well, we've got scrap cloth. From our scrap cloth, we have extras. What can we do with it? The kind of small pieces. Oh, those are a perfect size to make gun cleaning patches from. So he took the scraps from the scraps that he turned into underwear, and he turned those into gun cleaning cloths and has developed a successful business selling gun patches, gun cleaning patches, which he makes from the leftovers from the underwear he makes from the leftovers and scraps from other manufacturing. And he's a millionaire, I do believe a multi-millionaire. And he's nothing special in so much of he's not a genius level IQ or he didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth or any of this stuff. He's just normal, average, everyday Joe that came up with an idea and made it work and is a multimillionaire. Again, these books are incredibly inspiring, and the reason it's called The Millionaire Next Door, the first book, is because they're average guys just like me and you. So when you're looking at business, when you're looking at what you're going to do, what type of business you're going into, don't look at something flashy and go, oh, that's what I have to do. You can be selling underwear to prisoners and become a multimillionaire. Or one of my mentors growing up, he told me he met a guy. And all the guy sold, he drove up in a really nice car. I don't remember what, but a really nice car. And he said, he had this really nice car. And I'm like, what do you do? He goes, I sell buttons. Buttons? Yeah, the little buttons they sew on your shirts and your pants, to hold your pants up. Buttons, those sewing buttons. Like, what? Yeah. And his job is he sells buttons to all the manufacturers of all the clothes. And he's a millionaire. Selling buttons. You wouldn't think. But there's a large market out there. But not consumer market, it's industry. He's found a way to make millions by selling a needed part of clothing, becoming part of the supply chain, a valued part of a supply chain of a larger company, and he's a millionaire. So you don't have to be, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing anything flashy. I just started up my own janitorial service, or I've just started up my own tree cutting service, or my own fill in the blank everyday Joe type of thing. It's okay. You don't have to look good. The key thing is being good. The key thing is having a positive balance sheet, to be in the black, to have money in the bank, to be able to weather storms. Being good is infinitely better than looking good. Because again, odds are 9 times out of 10, you're not really that good. one of my favorite commercials that hammers this point home, except for the fact that it's a commercial for a bank that lends more money. But I think it's a lending tree commercial. Shows a guy, he goes, "Hey, do you like my house?" He's got a big smile on his face. "It's really cool. Do you like my car?" "I like my car. And I have a swimming pool. And you need to ask me," as he's driving around on a little riding lawnmower, "and you ask me, how does he do it?" And he looks and he's got this big smile on his face the whole time, but sheer, unadulterated panic in his eyes at the same time. He goes, "I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Somebody help me," or something along those lines. It's been a while, but he looked good. The commercial makes a point, even though it's a commercial for a lending company, which I don't support. It makes a point. He looked good. He had a big house, a fancy car, and a swimming pool, and a lawn big enough to have a riding lawnmower for. But he was buried in debt, and he was not really doing that good. Matter of fact, most of the millionaires and the millionaire next door, they live in the median income neighborhood, and they live in the median value house, the one that's not not the lowest one on the block, or the most, least expensive, or the most expensive. Usually the middling expensive house on the block. They're everyday guys. They don't look any special. And I even heard one on the Dave Ramsey radio show. The guy called in, parent about sending his kids to college. And Dave Ramsey asked him a couple of questions. He goes, "How much is your house worth?" And he can't remember how much it was. He said how much his house was worth. "Do you have any debt?" "No." "Do you have any savings?" "Yeah." So he had zero debt, and he owned his house flat out. He had his cars owned flat out. And when Dave Ramsey did the math, he goes, "Dude, you're a millionaire." He's like, "What?" "Your net worth is over $1 million. You're a millionaire." The guy had no clue. An average everyday guy worried about finding the money to send his kids to school, and he was a millionaire. His house and cars and his savings, everything valued was over $1 million. Well over, I think it was like $1.5 million. He had no clue. He had no clue. He didn't look like a millionaire. He didn't feel like a millionaire. He didn't even know he was a millionaire until Dave Ramsey pointed out. He's like, "Yeah, your kids can go to school. Don't worry about it." Now, you have a couple of kids and your current income was enough to send them to Harvard each, but he was able to send his kids to school free and clear because he was a millionaire. He didn't even know it. So I'm rambling on. I do apologize today. I'm a little tired, but that's my point. You want to sell Ferraris or Lamborghinis? Ferrari did a little bit better, but Ferrari struggled through hard financial times as well. But do you want to sell the Lamborghini but be broke? Or do you want to sell underwear and be wealthy? Your choice. You have a good day. Bye-bye. Okay, just as a reminder, we do offer a free 1/2 hour, no obligation consultation. All you need to do is go to our website and contact us through there, or you can contact me directly at my O'Connor Bootstrap podcast Facebook group or our Atheoz.com Facebook page as well. And if you would like to support this channel, the best thing you can do, of course, is to like and share and subscribe. That helps the most. Or you can check out one of our affiliate links. And of course, I do have a PayPal and a Patreon account, and the links will be in the description below. Thank you very much. You all have a good day. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast and Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. For other podcasts, past episodes, and related blogs, please check out our website at www.atheoz.com. That is www.atheoz.com or the Atheoz.com. Until next time, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor.